Which will bring much interest to our online viewers and certainly to the persons here. Been a difficult month for us all, but in all things we have to give thanks because we are hopeful and we are resilient. To lead us off in prayer, I will ask Marketing Officer, Jamaica Stock Exchange, Charlene Steer, to come forward.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we begin the market research finals for 2024-25, we thank you for bringing us safely together. May everything we do bring you honor. Father, grant us clarity and excellence in all our presentations and decision-making. Lord, we command your blessings upon our chief executive officers, all our leaders, panelists, the coordinator, the committee members, our judges, and all participants. We recognize that all we are today is because of you. Proverbs 2 verse 6 tells us, "From the Lord comes wisdom, from his mouth knowledge and understanding." So we take this moment again to affirm the pledge in our national song. We work by our strength, our love, and our loyalty. We give. May these words define our services to the investing public and, Lord, our commitment to Jamaica. At this time, Father, remember those who lost their lives because of Hurricane Melissa. Comfort those who are suffering. Give us all the resilience, the strength, and compassion to help the rebuilding. As we proceed, we ask you to bless this event, bless the Jamaica Stock Exchange, bless all our partners. Thank you for the opportunity to meet, to connect, and to grow. Bless the refreshments to be served. These blessings and your continued mercies we ask in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you very much, Charlene. The best way to start is with prayer. Okay, we're now going to ask our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Livingston Morrison, to come forward, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Morrison to his first year at this event as the CEO. Mr. Morrison will be doing the official welcome and his opening remarks. Please welcome him again.
Thank you, Andre. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Welcome to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I need to, of course, start by just acknowledging the difficulties that our brothers and sisters in the West and Southwest are experiencing at this point in time. It certainly grieves so many of us, and as I have been saying for the last couple of weeks, it is going to take a monumental effort to get us back on track. I know most of us are giving. If you're giving and it doesn't hurt, you're not giving enough. We have to just keep giving. You know? I was very, very pleased to note the announcements yesterday and the efforts that we're making at reconstruction. And I think that's how we have to start thinking. There is no recovery here. It's about reconstruction and grasping the opportunity that is presented to us to ensure that our town centers across Jamaica are fit for purpose. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome you here to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. On behalf of the board, the management, and staff, I extend a special welcome to the finalists, the committee members, the judges, member dealers, partners, and distinguished guests joining us for this, the 2024-2025 Market Research Competition Finals and Awards Ceremony. Welcome. The Jamaica Stock Exchange is committed to operating efficient and viable markets for mobilizing capital and supporting growth and development objectives of our stakeholders. We appreciate that the efficiency of our markets is directly related to the availability of information on the financial performance and position, as well as the capacity plans and programs of our listed companies. In this context, the work of analysts is of critical importance to market efficiency, as well as to the integrity and transparency of the markets in which we operate. This is a context, ladies and gentlemen, in which I invite you to think about the JSE Market Research Competition and its positive impact in helping to resource the financial services sector with high-quality analysts, as well as effective sector executives and leaders. Since its inception in 2002, the Market Research Competition has been serving the intended purpose and objective, which include increasing the interest and involvement of analysts and observers in the Jamaican stock market, enhancing and showcasing the research, analysis, and presentation skills of our participants and also potential participants, encouraging listed companies to improve the content and timeliness of the information provided to our shareholders, and of course, building awareness and exposure to market analysis of high quality. The impact of the market research competition is especially important to our efforts to increase the pool of investors who regularly engage in our market activities. There are numerous investors who can be classified as first-time participants in the stock market. Many are students, new employees, small business owners, teachers, civil servants, ordinary men and women who are choosing to build investment portfolios as part of their wealth management programs. These investors depend on continuous objective assessment of the financial position and performance of the companies in which they invest. It is clear to us here at the exchange that participation in market research competition helps to sharpen research skills, expand knowledge and understanding of the market, and cultivate the analytical rigor that is critical ingredient in the process of strengthening market efficiency. The evidence is overwhelmingly in support of the conclusion that the market research competition provides a solid foundation on which to build leadership skills that are relevant to the securities industry. many of our past winners have risen to senior executive positions and, of course, have built successful enterprises on their own. I won't go through the names, but check your program. There are some significant players there. And I must say, there is at least one I can recognize as a member of my board. The competition is testament to what happens when competence, discipline, and opportunity converge. Through all these changes, the Jamaica Stock Exchange remains deeply committed to advancing the discipline of market research. We believe that sound analysis is integral to market development, economic growth, and, of course, sustainable national progress. I'm deeply committed to strengthening the culture of research excellence. Robust, transparent, and data-driven market does not happen by chance. It is built on the collective work of all stakeholders in the ecosystem. As I bring these brief remarks to a close, allow me to convey my thanks and appreciation to members of the Market Research Committee. As a group, you have volunteered your time and expertise to ensuring that the competition stays strong, significant, and relevant. Chairman Professor Curtin, thanks to you and the team for the hard work and contribution to the Jamaica Stock Exchange to the work of the Market Research Committee. In addition to Chairman Curtin, I would like to acknowledge the members of the committee, Dr. Hopton Morrison. And by the way, everybody who named Morrison is related to me, right? I just claimed them. Mr. Lloyd Vermont Sr., Denise Williams, Laverne Clark, Gavin, Danny Foster, Miss Sylvester, Neville Ellis, Michael Johnston, and of course our own Bernadette Oldfield Brown. A heartfelt thanks for your support and dedication to our esteemed judges, Dr. Lloyd Vermont Sr., Dr. Hopton Morrison, and Rondine McLean. Please accept our thanks and appreciation for your diligence and commitment throughout the review and evaluation process. And of course, to our finalists, Jerry Lee Young and Sean Davidson, well done on reaching this stage, and I wish you the best this afternoon. Your collective effort is of great value in helping the exchange to inspire confidence, the confidence of our stakeholders, and of course, confidence of Jamaica at large. Thank you so very much, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Morrison, for that welcome. And I'm now going to ask Mrs. Cadil McNaught Hermit, Manager, Registrar Services Unit, Jamaica Central Securities Depository, to come forward and to introduce our guest speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, finalists, members of the Jamaica Stock Exchange team, good afternoon. This afternoon, as we celebrate excellence in market research and the spirit of innovation that continues to shape Jamaica's financial landscape, it is truly a privilege to introduce a leader whose career reflects the very qualities we honor today: insight, strategy, and transformative impact. Now, I have to admit, as I was reviewing Dr. Lowe's profile for this introduction, I found myself thinking, maybe I should ask him for guidance on a business strategy, or even a loan for that business, and perhaps a few pointers for the rest of my career, because he has clearly mastered several areas. And once you hear his background, I'm sure you'll feel the same way. So let me go into it. Dr. David F. Lowe is a distinguished executive, investor, and corporate finance professional with over 25 years of experience spanning private equity, financial services, agriculture, manufacturing, and real estate development. He currently serves as the managing director of the Development Bank of Jamaica, where he leads the institution's mission to drive sustainable economic growth through strategic financing, development initiatives, and critical support for entrepreneurship, especially among Jamaica's micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Before joining the DBJ, Dr. Lowe led Catalyst Holdings Limited, stewarding investment opportunities across the Caribbean. He also served as the CEO of Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited, one of the island's leading distributors and a key player in the hospitality supply chain. His global expertise includes senior strategy work at Accenture in Australia and Singapore, advising Fortune Global 500 companies on strategy, digital transformation, and operations. Dr. Lowe has also contributed significantly to national policy, serving on several public sector boards and advising ministries in industry, investment and commerce, and agriculture. Academically, he's equally impressive. He holds a PhD in finance from the University of Manchester's, that's in particular Manchester Business School, and has completed executive programs at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, specializing in private equity, distressed asset investments, and commercial real estate. Despite his extensive leadership responsibilities, Dr. Lowe remains committed to the next generation of thinkers and innovators. He serves as a lecturer at the University of the West Indies and the Mona School of Business and Management, contributing to the development of future leaders in entrepreneurship and business strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present a visionary leader, a dedicated public servant, and a champion for Jamaica's economic development. Please join me in welcoming Dr. David Lowe.
Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to thank you for that wonderful introduction. Everything outside of the number of years I've been working was appreciated. But anyway, Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Livingston Morrison, CEO of JSE, members of the committee, our finalists today, all the other hardworking members of the JSE and the JCSD, a warm good morning. I'm delighted to be here this morning for a number of reasons. Because as we recognize the continued growth and evolution of Jamaica's capital market, the issue as to why I'm here today to speak about research becomes an imperative. I'm going to endorse, support, and elaborate on some of the points that were made earlier by Mr. Livingston, and to set the stage for what the future of Jamaica and capital markets speaks to when we consider research. Our market has come a long way. More listings, more retail participation, stronger institutions, and increasing international attention. As I look to my right, we all are familiar with the accolades of what our market has brought on the global stage, and we continue to celebrate and congratulate all of the participants and stakeholders in this remarkable task. This is why this afternoon I want to highlight a force that holds the entire system together. The force that turns uncertainty into clarity, data into decisions, and ambition into sustainable progress. That force is research. Now I'm going to just take you through 6 quick points and tie everything together, beginning with what is it about research that builds confidence in a growing market like ours? Jamaica's capital market has expanded significantly over the past decade. More Jamaicans are investing, more companies are raising capital, and more instruments are emerging. But this growth can only be sustained if the market remains grounded in one key word. That word is trust. High-quality research produced by analysts, dealers, economists, and institutions give investors the confidence to participate by creating a bridge for appreciating where opportunities lie. It tells them you're not investing in the dark. No, it teaches us and the market that as information becomes available, it needs to be put in the context of a realistic landscape, a progress, understanding risks, differentiating long-term value, and contrasting that, more importantly, against what we see as short-term noise. But you know, confidence isn't built just by hope and just by some numbers through information. It really sets the stage and the platform for the building blocks for what is considered not just empirical, but practical inputs to where value lies. So the second thing is research and its support for national development priorities. Capital markets do not exist in isolation. They're engines of national development. And I'll just digress for a minute. I just came back from a business trip, and while I was at the airport, someone unknown to me struck up a conversation, and I identified myself and where I was from and what we did here in Jamaica. And that person said, you know, I must admit that one of the things that I've always admired about Jamaica is its ability within the Caribbean to create an effective, efficient, working capital market. And through that, the Jamaica Stock Exchange was referenced. And I felt proud to know that that was identified as a realistic engine of growth for the country. And other people admire that hard work. So congratulations. But in the context again, whether we're going to look at other opportunities for national opportunities, things such as financing renewable energy, upgrading infrastructure that is going to be needed more now than ever, expanding MSME activity and participation, digitizing our environment, or building resilience against natural disasters like what we just witnessed and experienced. The path begins with research. Research guides capital to the most productive sectors and the most opportunistic considerations. It identifies the firms with strong governance and strong potential. It ensures development capital is used efficiently and sustainably. When our research ecosystem is strong, our national development opportunities become stronger. The third, research helps Jamaica's pricing and managing risk as it relates to considerations around climate too. No region has felt climate risk like the Caribbean, and no more so than Jamaica a few weeks ago. Hurricanes, droughts, rising insurance costs, these are economic realities, not theoretical constructs. So research will help us do a number of other things. Quantify these sector vulnerabilities, whether it's agriculture or tourism, or just our general ability to have logistics participate, our ports, our roads, and airports. Analyzing balance sheets and the exposure of publicly listed companies certainly fall from this. The structure of catastrophe-linked instruments, which are going to become more of a topical issue as we go forward. And more importantly, designing sustainable finance products or financial products that will reward resilience. All of those are important as we go forward in this new reality that we're faced with. But without research, risk remains invisible. With research, risk now becomes more manageable. It becomes a communication measure. It becomes a connectivity opportunity. It then allows capital to form context for how it's going to be impactful. The fourth, research that we have been conducting effectively over many years continues to allow international investors to understand communication that they are already familiar with in their own domiciles. The fact that the metrics, the robustness, understanding of what constitutes a balance sheet strength, liquidity, or profitability is a language of business everywhere. But the depth of what research brings is the ability to understand how do you bring a complicated context of business and global influences into your decision making through these empirical deliverables. The other thing is that with greater foreign participation comes deeper liquidity, and that's important for any market. The ability to have activity on a stock exchange, which means that there are buyers and sellers in continuity, appreciating where value opportunities lie, or opportunities to take gains and reinvest. Those are the opportunities that create a vibrant stock exchange. And research, again, becomes a building block of what those opportunities speak to. The fifth, research strengthens brokerage firms and protects investors. And that's from a governance perspective. For securities dealers, research is not a luxury. No, it's not. It is a competitive and ethical necessity. Firms with robust research functions make better decisions, structure better products, and act with greater responsibility towards their clients, embracing that word that I used before, trust. This protects investors, especially new retail investors. And as we continue to grow the activities of the stock exchange, and we crowd in more people who believe that equity is a form of value creation, both on the side of those that want to be listed and those that want to have ownership in a growing opportunity in a particular sector or particular business. So in a market where participation is broadening, research is a shield that prevents misinformation, hype, and speculation from eroding the confidence of a market. And that's another important reason why research matters. We've seen around the world, there are many examples where rumors and misinformation creates panic and throws the market and confidence of the participants. So we need to make sure that where research exists, we create that buffer and that shield against irrational behavior, which we can't totally remove because that's the nature of markets anyway. The sixth, research elevates the entire market ecosystem. From regulators to listed companies, from pension funds to development banks, like our very own Development Bank of Jamaica, research strengthens every pillar of the Jamaican financial system. A market grounded in research is a market that is transparent, efficient, and more importantly, contributor to resilience. So it is a market that's capable of mobilizing capital to transform an economy is the one that's likely to be most successful. And as we continue to move forward in a post-storm environment, these opportunities and avenues remain a critical platform for enable capital to find home in places of opportunity. So for the Development Bank of Jamaica, industry research is not abstract in any shape or form. It is the foundation of how we design effective interventions, how we allocate resources, and how we support the country's productive sectors. Whether we are crafting the National Recovery Framework, as we've been working on it for the last 2 weeks, which is going to be announced very shortly, shaping blended financial solutions to make sure the cost of capital becomes manageable to those businesses that have an appetite for growth, have access to capital. We are there because we have to rely on industry research, both that of other capable members of the financial community and that of our own teams. But whatever it is, industry research allows DBJ to deploy capital with precision and in anticipation of certain risks that we have to do to make sure that we are a buffer to those realities. And that's what really strengthens our national competitiveness. In this sense, the work of the DBJ and the theme of today's event are deeply aligned. They really are. And for that reason, we rely on data, insight, and thoughtful analysis that is going to be able to unlock Jamaica's long-term growth and opportunities for development. So as we look at the future, several themes will shape Jamaica's economic trajectory. Themes that will require sound, ongoing research. Digital transformation and fintech. We're going to hear a lot more about that as time goes on. Nearshoring and logistics expansion. Renewable energy and climate-smart investments. Improvements in human capital and workforce competitiveness. Strengthening our export-oriented industries. And of course, the integration of technology into agriculture and manufacturing. Industry research enables us to identify where the world is going and to position Jamaica in a way that's adaptable to all of these that I just mentioned. So this is why today's competition is so important. And to our finalists, Dawn and Jerry, you're about to join the prestigious group of past winners who have made an indelible mark on this important industry and the role that you play. Your analytical work represents the future of Jamaica's financial intelligence. You have demonstrated the discipline, curiosity, and intellectual rigor required to excel in financial research. And for that, we congratulate you on that. So, in closing, to the JSA team, the judges, your ongoing commitment to building a culture of research and data-driven decision-making has strengthened our financial markets and supported Jamaica's economic evolution. The evolution doesn't stop, it continues. To all the participants, observers, and young analysts here today, the audience, industry research is not just an academic exercise. It is a powerful tool that shapes real outcomes for investors, for companies, and for the country. So let us continue to embrace this discipline of research. Let us continue to build a market grounded in knowledge. Let us continue to build on Jamaica's capital environment. And let us continue to build a Jamaica whose growth is informed, sustainable, and unstoppable. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Lowe. Excellent presentation there. As an academic yourself, I can see the pride when you looked at these youngsters, and hope you can stay for as much of the presentations as possible. Thank you for being here again. We know that your schedule is very tight. All right, so the moment we've been waiting for. 2 finalists have been selected by the Market Research Committee, and these finalists presented written analysis to the committees already. The written presentation comprises 60% of the final score. The winners will also now be required to make oral presentations, which account for 40% of their final grade. The oral presentation really allows the finalists to sort of verbalize what they presented in the written format and also to make defense of their submissions before a panel of judges. Each participant will be given 10 minutes to make their presentation. This year, the company being analyzed is Kingston Wharfs. And the panel will consist of 2 committee members and 1 external judge. Each presenter will be allowed to ask 2 questions of their opponents. Each judge will ask 2 questions of the participants as well. And there will be 2 questions that the audience will be allowed to ask. After the Q&A, the judges will deliberate while the chairman is making his presentation. And after the presentation, the winner will be announced. Presentation of the awards will be done, and all the participants of the competition, including the winner, will be presented with their trophies and their cash prizes. The winner will also make a 3-minute presentation, not necessarily related to Kingston Wharfs. There will also be photo opportunities for both the winner and the runner-up. Those are the ground rules, and without further ado, I would ask representing Barita Investments, Mr. Sean Davidson, to lead us off. Please make him welcome.
So, my name is Sean Davidson. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So, my name is Sean Davidson. I am a representative of Barita Investments Limited, where I recently joined as Group Senior Investment Banking Analyst. And I think the work of investment bankers are particularly important as we continue to redevelop from what just happened with Hurricane Melissa, right? And I think it's particularly topical that we're discussing Kingston wharves that, essentially act as a gateway for goods and supplies to come into the country at this important time. Right? So now I'm just going to take you through a summary of the presentation and what my findings suggest. So based on the research, I will rate Kingston wharves as a buy with a target price of $33.16. That represents an upside of 14.46% above the current price it's trading at, which is $28.97. Right? So touching a bit more on the company overview. Now, Kingston Wharves is a leading multi-purpose port terminal operator in the Caribbean that was established in 1945. So in 2025, the company is 80 years old. That shows you that the company is able to withstand several market cycles and will continue to be around given the size of its balance sheet and its equity position. Now, it operates a multi-purpose terminal that operates 24/7, facilitating the movement of goods for importers and exporters across over 40 international ports in the Caribbean, Latin America, and North America. Right? Its business segments include terminal operations, which contribute roughly 60% of annual revenues, as well as logistics services, making it a vertically integrated company that contribute roughly 40% of annual revenues. So what drives the valuation of Kingston Wharves, right? So one, it is strategically located between Panama and North America, which acts as a transshipment point, essentially, especially as they try to take over the niche market of transshipment of automobiles, right? Most notably, they are trying to achieve a capacity of 500,000 automobiles being stored in Jamaica to act as a transshipment hub. Two, infrastructure and technology upgrades. So as we all know, the port industry is very competitive. They need to essentially upgrade themselves to compete on a global scale, right? So most recently, they would have invested over 70 million US dollars, widening the Berth 7 specifically, and developing their logistics business. Three, they operate in a special economic zone, which provides certain tax incentives, right? So just briefly touch on investment risks. So global trade uncertainty. Again, the US is currently changing its trade policies, which may divert certain trade flows from Jamaica, competitive pressure, as well as climate and environmental risk. So touching on the financial highlights. So over the last 5 years, Kingston Wharves would have grown revenues by over 50%. Most notably, its logistics services is the fastest growing segment at 15.8% annual compounded growth rates. All right. Net profit would have moderated slightly, driven by the fact that in 2022 we would have had record inflation that year. Revenue would have fallen next year, 2023, driven by the fact that there would have been less capital investments in the country, given the BOJ's rate hiking cycle at that time. As mentioned, Kingston Wharves has a fortress balance sheet, essentially, with over $62 billion in assets, financed mostly by shareholders' equity of $50 billion. Right? And I just want to touch back on this point here that shows the 9 months earnings. That essentially the 9 months earnings would have increased by roughly 20%, which is directly tied to their investments that they're making, expanding the logistics services and the ports to accommodate larger ships. So that's, directly in line with what they're doing, right? So a part of the assessment was to compare it to, regional peers. And I chose to compare it to the closest comparative I thought there was, which was a port in Trinidad, right? So side by side, you see where Kingston Wharves outperforms both on revenue, cash flow, profitability, and efficiency. And it transports or handles roughly 200% more volume on average than this port in Trinidad. Now, the structural growth drivers include, again, as mentioned, auto transshipment expansion, logistics integration, digitization and modernization, and the special economic zone advantage. So these things are expected to drive growth within Kingston Wharves and ensure that the target price is achieved in the near term. Now, in modern business, ESG is a part of any big business, right? Ensuring that the company gives back to the community, is active in the development of the country outside of profits. So Kingston Wharves is aligned with 5 UN SDG goals. And that is particularly important as we continue to, be mindful of, the environmental risks and to develop the communities that surround Kingston Wharves. Now, touching on the valuation, we would have done a mixture in terms of looking at discounted cash flows, as well as market comparable valuations. So the market comparables have justified the upside, though the DCF is conservative due to near-term high capital expenditures. All right. Looking at the market comparables, we see where, I would have done some comparisons to infrastructure like companies, so Trans-Jamaica Highway, Wigton, cargo handlers. And so that would have, the combination of those 3 things would have resulted in the base case target price of $33.16. So again, just to end the presentation, I am recommending Kingston Wharves that buy with a target price of $33.16, which represents a 14.46% upside. Kingston Wharves is a high-quality, diversified port operator with 1, strategic location and strong competitive moat, long-term structural growth in autos and logistics, 3, exceptional operational efficiency, conservative leverage and robust financial position, and an attractive 14.46% upside with catalysts currently in play as seen by the 9 months ended September 2025. Now the outlook is one of cautious optimism, right? We all know that, the trade policies of our closest neighbors are changing, as well as, the current impact of the hurricane. So Kingston Wharves is being optimistic but cautious at the same time. They'll continue to invest in their people, in their infrastructure and systems. They'll continue to pursue partnerships as well as focus on digital innovation, sustainability, and long-term value. Thank you.
I have one question. Are we ready for questions? How would you compare the size of the company, Trinidad, against the size? Thank you. How would you compare the company against which you compared, the company in Trinidad against which you compared Kingston Wharves? Can you speak to the size difference?
Sure. So when you're looking at comparing companies, one of the aspects that we look at is the revenues or the size of the revenues that they generate. So roughly speaking, and this is translated to Jamaican dollars, the company that we're looking at. Roughly speaking, the revenues are, sort of comparable, with Kingston Wharves leading 58.78% on a revenue standpoint. They are both in the Caribbean. I think that, as well as an important point to note, is that these numbers represent the port aspect of the business in Trinidad, as they also operate a logistics park. So these numbers have been stripped out solely from the port operations terminal to be a little bit more comparative.
Thank you.
I have one myself. I just comment to say I would have liked to have seen comparisons with other ports as well, apart from Point Lisas. And because we're not finished with the presentations, I won't say anything else on that. But the auto sector, there are some planned expansions across that whole sector though by Kingston and all that. And I wanted you to elaborate a bit on that. You didn't say anything. What's the plan in terms of the ongoing expansion plans, logistical plans?
All right, so I mean, they continue to invest heavily in that region. So currently the plan is to get to 500,000 in terms of the capacity, 500,000 automobiles being held at Tinsipen location. So they want to get to 500,000 by 2030.
So I'll just follow up very quickly. That seems to be a very essential part of the strategic intent. And that whole auto sector, that's why I'm driving it, because what's the breadth of the linkages across the Caribbean?
So in terms of the ports, I assume that's what you're speaking of when you say linkages.
Yeah.
So they have over 40 ports internationally, both in Latin America, the Caribbean, and North America. So that's why it's at such a strategic location to connect both importers and exporters to these various locations globally.
One more question. Kingston Wharves, I think, has been incorporated into the Panjam Group. How do you see that incorporation impacting your recommendation of Kingston Wharves as a buy?
Sure. So I mean, if anything, there is a positive impact because Panjam, as an investment holding company, has a long history of developing their portfolio companies. So, even the chairman, he brings extraordinary experience that could be, is invaluable to Kingston Wharves as they continue to develop the ports down there and develop their logistics services business.
Any more questions?
Hi, Sean. So I just have one question, and as it relates, so I saw the valuation and the numbers were similar to mine. So I just have one question. Do you see any challenges with Kingston Wharves? Anything negative? Anything that we should consider as an investor?
Sure. So I touched on investment risks. So I mean, the global trade uncertainty, should we break out into a trade war where the United States is continuously imposing tariffs, perhaps there might be changes in global trade flows. And secondly, the competitive pressure. Again, ports are always in development, especially given that we're so close to the Panama Canal and the Dam Rip that have, vastly, I would say, basically their port operations are, one would say superior to ours. So we need to, as a nation and for Kingston Wharves themselves to be constantly developing themselves to take on this new challenge. And again, climate and environmental risks. I mean, we're a small island developing state, and the fact that sea levels are rising, this might pose a threat to Kingston Wharves, as well as increasing intensity of weather patterns and systems.
Thank you.
So I have one more question, Mr. Moderator. I noticed you didn't mention at all Kingston Freeport Terminal, which is next door, which is a bigger business. It's a global activity. So I'm curious to know what is relationship between Kingston Wharves and Kingston Freeport Terminal. That's one, quickly. And then we just had a Category 5 hurricane. Could, based on your research, could Kingston Wharf have, how could Kingston Wharf, in your estimation, would have handled that Category 5 if the hurricane had come straight to Kingston? So I'm just throwing that at you.
Sure. So as I mentioned, Kingston Freeport Terminal is, a vastly bigger operation. They do operate in the port of Kingston together. Again, when you're comparing companies, you need to look at, similar size, similar revenues. And so I wouldn't have, put Kingston Wharves at a disadvantage by looking at a vastly bigger operation. So the companies needed to have been somewhat comparable.
I just want to know what's the correlation? Is there a relationship between them? That's all.
To my knowledge, they only share, geographical location. But okay.
And the Category 5, any question on hurricane?
Sure. I mean, so to speak on the impact that Kingston Wharves would have sustained is a hard task, right? Because we've seen the devastation out west, and given that they are basically on the coast, they would have sustained damages. Although in the recent report, they mentioned that they would have secured their assets. So one would think that they would have sustained some damages, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't have been a game stopper for them.
Thank you very much, Sean. We can take one question from the audience if there's anyone who wants to ask a question. Sean? Anyone? Alicia?
Thank you.
Potential risk or opportunities with these plans, especially in terms of impact to the balance sheet, in terms of debt financing? What did the numbers say to you in that? Is it something they have room for right now?
In terms of the expansion, so if you look on the balance sheet numbers, right? So Kingston Wharves, again, they have a fortress balance sheet. When I look at the debt to equity ratio, it is far lower than the average on the market, right? So they have a debt to equity ratio of 0.16 times. And, given that though they are borrowing, some of these investments are, already showing positive results based on the 9 months numbers. So they do have further capacity to expand based on the liquidity that they have and the size of the balance sheet.
Very much. Thank you much. Round of applause for Sean. Here. Well done. And thank you for your participation. All right, we're now going to ask Shirley Young to come forward and do her presentation on the same company, Kingston Wharves. Please welcome her.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jerry Lee Young, and I will be presenting my findings on Kingston Wharves Limited. I will try to keep it very simple so that everyone can understand. So, Kingston Wharves Limited, a lot of us know it as the place that we collect our barrels. But I want to say that it is more than just that. It is a gateway towards which our our economy thrives and survives, being access to the export and import markets. We saw the recent devastation of Hurricane Melissa, and we can agree that Kingston Wars Limited is indeed an avenue through which we will rebuild Jamaica. And we also saw where Kingston Wars offered a 10% reduction in shipping fees in order to help to rebuild our country, Jamaica, stronger together. So I will now jump to give you a quick overview of Kingston Wars Limited. So Kingston Wars was founded in 1945 and has grown its operations to increase shareholders' value. It utilizes contactless cargo clearance system, which reduces clearance times and improves operations. Its revenues are diversified across terminal operations, and which accounts for 74% of revenues, and logistics services that accounts for 26% of revenues. Today, it connects over 30 countries and 40 ports worldwide. So I will jump to their corporate governance structure, as corporate governance is important for every entity. So Kingston Wharves is overseen by a 12-member board with strong expertise in logistics, finance, and technology, with competencies suitable for a business in this industry. Governance is also reinforced by 3 independently chaired committees. And I will now jump to give you a brief overview of the financial performance. So if we study the graph on screen carefully, we can, well, at least 3 or 4 things should jump out at us. And the first one is that we saw where revenue trended upwards for the entire 5-year period. We saw where total expenses also went up, and net profit remained within a moderate band of 2.2 billion to 3.3 billion over the period. And ROE also on a declining trend. So the big question then is, what is the cause of this? So for revenues, it's basically due to higher transshipment volumes and additional expansion into logistics services. Expenses is due basically to COVID and post-COVID inflationary pressures. And as it relates to profit, again, it's inflation and depreciation associated with property, plant, and equipment. ROE, we saw declined, and this is explainable by the strategic expansions that the company has embarked on. So that increased the equity base faster than the change in profits, causing ROE to decline from 9% in 2021 to 6% in 2024. So naturally then, the next question is, what is being done to boost the profitability of the entity? And the answer is clear. The company has earmarked $100 million in investments to boost its capacity. And already, Bird 6 was redeveloped, as well as the Ashenheim complex was completed. And the multi-story car park is also in the pipeline. So we jump now down to the financial condition. And if we observe also this graph, at least 1 or 2 things should jump out. And I'm just going to touch on a few. So we see where assets increased over the period. And total liabilities, though it increased, which is the darker color bars to the bottom, it's relatively low compared to other components. So what are the main drivers? So as it relates to assets, The increase is due to major capital projects, property, plant, and equipment. Liabilities, basically debt repayments and slightly more debt. And then equity is supported by a strong retained earnings of 19.4 billion. So the conclusion then is clear. Kingston Wharves employs prudent debt management, which produced a strong debt coverage ratio of 19.6 times, and this suggests that there is no financial stress associated with leverage. Kingston Wharves boasts strong liquidity with a quick ratio of 3.7 times, indicating its ability to settle all debts when they become due. Additionally, ROE averaged 7% over the 5-year period, broadly aligned with regional peers. Overall, shareholders' value creation is evident in the expansion of shareholders' equity, retained earnings growth, and a steady dividend payout of 68 cents in each year. So we will jump quickly to cash flow and debt management. So over the past 5 years, Kingston Wharves has generated strong operating cash flows, and as such, cash and cash equivalents increased by a compounded annual growth rate of 12%. If you study the graph on screen, you will realize that though borrowings increased a bit, net cash and cash equivalents is sufficient to settle both long and short-term interest-bearing debt, which underscores prudent debt management and the ability of the company to protect shareholders' value. So we now jump to the peer comparison. So in comparison to similarly listed peers in the region, Kingston Wharves produced a stronger net profit margin of 25% relative to 15% for its peer. Additionally, it has a price-to-book ratio of 0.393 times, suggesting undervaluation and a potential upside for investors. With Jamaica's logistics center projected to grow from 2% of GDP to 7% over the next decade, Kingston Wharves is positioned to benefit from global trade shifts. So we will look quickly at digitization and automation. Kingston Wharves' port transformation delivers clear benefits and cost savings. Technologies such as automated gates, mobile harbor cranes, and modern TOS system enables the company to improve its reliability and speed, and it positioned them to benefit from growth in global shipment flows. As with anything, there are opportunities and risks as listed on screen. Environmental, social, and governance. As we know, Kingston Wharves is big as it relates to environmental and social governance. It is a regional leader in environmental sustainability, and as such, it has won multiple awards for environmental best practices. All right, so we jump now to the stock price analysis. Observe the yellow bars representing net profits, as well as the blue line depicting Kingston Wharves stock price at year end. Despite fluctuations in the profitability, share price trended downwards from $46 in 2020 to $27 in 2023, before slightly recovering in 2024. So this suggests that a broader market sentiment prevails following the COVID-19 pandemic and was influenced by that market sentiment rather than earnings performance. We also see where the main market trended downwards over the same period, as is represented by the yellow line, and that is times 10,000. So we now go to the most important part of this presentation, which is the valuation and recommendation. Kingston Wharves share price at the time of this valuation is $31. I believe today it's about 29. So Kingston Wharves share price was $31, and all valuation methodologies point to a significant upside. The PE approach yielded a valuation of $32.78, while the EV/EBITDA method yielded a value of $40.30 per share. Additionally, the DCF method yielded a valuation of $33.35. Averaging across all methods, the intrinsic valuation is $35.48, representing a 14% upside potential. The PB ratio of 0.93 confirms that the share is trading below its net asset value. Given Kingston Wharves' $100 million upgrade budget, a part of which was already completed, the group should attract a larger clientele, which would boost revenues and profitability. And the market has not yet priced the returns of the capital expenditure program into its valuation, so the entity is poised for revaluation. So given that Kingston Wharves is strategically positioned, is fundamentally sound, and has comparable profitability to peers, and it's boosted by strong cash flows, is very prudent in debt management, and has a clearly undervalued stock, while actions taken to promote growth, the recommendation is clear for a buy. So I will just give a summary of the findings. So the first one is strong governance. And then they have also done multiple upgrades to improve their infrastructure, as well as they have a stable dividend payout rate, among other things. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jerry. Good presentation. Judges, Mr. Vermont, I think you can use this one.
Thank you very much. My question is, against which company did you compare
Okay.
Kingston Wharves?
So for the peers, I have chosen a smaller entity, because I wanted entities that were in Jamaica, but it's not many that are listed, and we were supposed to choose listed entities. So I chose Cargo Handlers Limited and Pan Jamaica Group, because you know they have a logistics arm in their business. And Cargo Handlers was also acquired. Part of it was acquired by Kingston Wharves Limited. So that makes it a good pair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's nothing here. Oh, thank you. Yes, two questions, very quickly. I wanted to elaborate a bit about the corporate governance, because you mentioned it and
Yes,
you said it was important. I have another one to follow. What is those are the expansion plans? Are you satisfied that the quality of the board is pleased to take it forward?
Okay, so I'd be very glad to answer that question. And I must say that I'm satisfied that the board is well able and competent and capable of carrying out that expansion plan. And the reason why I say so is because of the composition of the board and the expertise of all members on that board of committee. So I strongly agree that they are capable of doing that expansion.
Okay, to tell us who the chairman is. You remember who the chairman is? Okay, sorry, Mr. Hall.
Yes.
We'll help you with that.
Yes, yes.
All right. And the second question is, I like the fact that you mentioned the regional ports. And that was the problem I had with Sean's. I shared it with him. Because I think Point Lisas is really not competitive enough for us. So what about You spoke about the regional ports. Where are those?
Okay, so in my research, I also saw where Point Lisas came up as a regional port, but I believe that it's a bit different in terms of the makeup and structure, because I believe that Point Lisas is really a development corporation, and that is one of the reasons that I did not use it in my evaluation.
What are the ones you
Okay, so I utilize Pan Jamaica Group and Cargo Handlers Limited, which is a smaller entity, but I believe it is strategically important.
Well, the question I'm asking is there are ports like in Dominican Republic
Yes.
and Cuba, and one of you, I'm not quite sure which of you, mentioned those ports in the written presentation, right? And those are very important in terms of the strategic position of Kingston. So I just wanted to know where, in terms of those regional ports, because we're talking Caribbean global connectivity now, right? How do we position ourselves in that? Dominican Republic, Cuba, Miami, Panama. These are the places we have to look at now.
Okay, I believe that Kingston Wharves is already positioning itself to compete against these larger ports that exist in the region. And the reason that I have said so is because we see that it wants to benefit from the expansion in the Panama Canal as well as other things. So Kingston Wharves has done certain infrastructural upgrades to be able to accommodate larger vessels. So they had for instance, they had an infrastructure that it could only accommodate some smaller vessels. So now that it expanded its area, now that it has expanded and done some infrastructural upgrades, it is now saying to the public that I can accommodate some massive ships and cargo. So I'm opening up myself for business, so they are poised to increase their profitability from that.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What is your estimation of their capacity to expand given the recent hurricane? And also, do you think 10% reduction in fees is likely to have a negative or negligible impact?
All right. So I believe their capacity to expand is great. And in my presentation, I spoke of their balance sheet. We see where they are very liquid. So that is the first thing. They have sufficient cash and cash equivalents to completely pay off all of their debts. So financially, they are sound and ready to take on additional capacity. So yes.
And the 10% reduction is negligible or negative in terms of the potential impact?
Okay, so we see this 10% reduction in shipping fees, and it's good in terms of it's supporting the economy to rebuild. And in terms of that, with that 10%, we see an influx of barrels. So if we used to have 10,000, now we have 200,000. So I don't see it impacting their bottom line at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I can use this. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked our good friend Sean in respect of your assessment of the fact that Kingston Wharves is now a part of the Panjam Group. What's your assessment going forward?
Remind me of the question, please.
Pardon?
Remind me of your question, please, as it relates to Panjam.
The question is, in respect of the amalgamation of Kingston Wharves into Pan Jamaican Group, what's your assessment of the future of Kingston Wharves going forward?
All right, so we see an amalgamation in the, basically a consolidation, I must say. So not just with Pan Jamaica Group, but even with smaller entities such as Cargo Handlers Limited. And with those consolidation, I believe that the reach and is greater in terms of the customer base, and it will in fact help the entity to improve its profitability.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, panelists. Excellent questions. Sean, do you have any questions for your opponent?
Sure. So I just have one, right?
Yeah, man.
What were the factors that drove your valuation?
Okay, gladly. So in terms of my valuation, so I did three valuation approaches. I did the PE method, the EV/EBITDA, as well as the DCF approach. So driving my valuation, so I use it compounded annual growth rates for a lot of the items on the balance sheet, the line items that is. And in addition to that, something that was very, very critical is they earmarked 100 US 100 billion for expansion projects into 2029. So that was factored into the valuation. As in, so we know that they completed Ashenheim Road already. We know that they did Bird 7, among other things. So what is left from that 100 million was factored into the valuation, that is to build out the capital expenditure within the balance sheet. As it relates to other assumptions, so I used the 8% compounded annual growth rate for revenue. As it relates to, I did the work. As it relates to the expected market return, I used 7.2%. So being at the time when I did my evaluation, the risk-free rate was about 5 point something percent. So I added a market risk premium of 2% or so to get that 7.2%. So those are the main things that were in my evaluation.
Very much. Thank you, Sean. One question from the audience, if there are any. Going once. All right, no more questions from the audience. I'm going to ask you to applaud both our companions. These are really, both of these, first-class presentations and very deep analysis, and we're very proud of the presentation. Okay. While our judges commence the process of evaluation to determine the winning presenter, I will ask our chairman, Professor Claremont Curtin, to come and give his remarks. Please welcome Professor Curtin. Oh, sorry, Denise. I beg your pardon. You look a little different. You're certainly not Professor Curtin. Welcome, Denise Williams, please.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'll give greetings. Our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Andre Gooden, Group Business Development Manager, Mr. Livingston Morrison, our new CEO, yes? And I'm representing Professor Claremont Curtin, and of course, our guest speaker who just left, members of the Market Research Committee who are very, very busy right now. Miss Andrea Kelly, hi, how are you? Yes. General Manager, JCSD, and JCSD Trustee Services, and other members of the JSC team, finalists, panel of judges, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is truly an honor to stand here today as acting chairman. I have been on this committee since yesterday, 2002. Yes. So I have had a front row seat to its growth and transformation. You know that most of us on this committee, Sir Vermont, Sir Morrison, we were here like from the beginning, right? Yeah, nobody leaves. We just stay, you know? It's like, yeah. So it's been an extraordinary journey. So every year the event expands, and every year the participants raise the bar. Really, really good presentations. And so, you know, every year I am reminded why the committee plays such an important and enduring role. So when, you know, we established in 2002 Research in the brokerage community was limited, but look at where we stand today. Yes? You know, because of the commitment of the individuals in this room, our member dealers are now producing research that sits at the center of their advisory, responsibility, and risk management frameworks. They're no longer waiting for investors to go searching for answers. They're bringing insights directly to investors through their platforms, through direct communication, straight to our inboxes. And this is how modern markets should operate: well-informed, responsive, and focused on the investor. We've also seen significant improvement among our listed companies, the quality of information being disclosed, more reliable, more balanced, more comprehensive. I remember a time when our broker dealers, they were afraid to put out a negative analysis and to say, don't buy the stock. We've moved, right? So we've moved past that. So research is not a nice to have. It is the bedrock of confidence. And if we're at the point now where we can trust our broker dealers to say, don't buy or buy, I think that's we've moved past friend and company stage, right? So it fuels transparency and underpins a stable, reliable, resilient, and we need resilience now, financial ecosystem. And the numbers tell a story. So in 2002, the market had 15,000 investors. Today, the number exceeds 200,000. And Neville, you know the exact number, right, Neville? You know the exact number? Beyond 200,000? It's about 300,000. There you go. Participation grows when people feel informed, and robust research gives them the confidence to act. So this year's competition spanned 4 quarters, 4 winners along the way, and now our finalists. So I want to congratulate every single entrant. 26 individuals participated across the 4 quarters. And we have moved beyond just broker dealers. I've been talking about them, but our participants now, Neville, are from many other sectors of, right? Great. We extend our appreciation to each of you for dedicating the time and effort required for such a rigorous and involved process. Your work reflects a level of discipline and expertise that continues to advance the development of our market. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge our chairman. So I'm just acting, right? Professor Curtin is the longest serving chairman in the history of this competition, yes? He succeeded, yes, thank you. He succeeded Mr. Harry Abrikian, who passed away in 2007. May his soul rest in peace. This year marks Professor Curtin's 17th year of leadership, and his guidance has shaped this committee in purposeful and lasting ways. Under his stewardship, number one, the competition has expanded, starting with brokerage houses and now extended into universities and colleges. And you're from Bank of Jamaica, right? Yes, okay. Secondly, training programs have been introduced to equip participants to produce higher quality research reports, and that falls under Principal Kevin Powell. Yes, sir. Number 3, the questions have been reshaped to ensure that the research aligns with international standards, and the committee members, we do a lot of back and forth on the questions, yes. And number 4, the committee has expanded to manage the increased volume of submissions, which is always a good thing. And number 5, we are now looking to take this competition beyond the borders of Jamaica. So that's very, very, very exciting. So to all the committee, thank you. Yes. Yeah, we're doing big foreign and little foreign, yes, right? To all committee members, thank you for the work you do behind the scenes. It matters. You know, Sir Lloyd Vermont, he's a very serious gentleman. Sometimes If the papers are not up to standard, he won't even grade them. He won't look at them. Very serious man. So to our finalists, well done. You exemplify the standard of excellence we aim to showcase and encourage. Finally, let me once again express my sincere appreciation to the chairman for his dedication and steadfast support. Thank you all, and I look forward to continuing this meaningful and inspiring event.
Thank you, Lady in Red, Denise Williams. As she indicated, a long-serving member of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Group in many capacities, and your dedication and confidence in us continues to inspire us. In fact, the other members of this committee, who Denise has indicated have been here for quite some time, we applaud you all. We applaud the members of the Best Practices Committee who worked tirelessly for that event, which is coming up on the 3rd. We applaud the governors of the Jamaica Stock Exchange e-campus, all the directors of all the subsidiary boards and the main board who really continue to put their faith in us to continue to deliver quality. So we thank you all for your support. Mr. Morrison, your judges are almost ready. Your judges are almost. Sure. All right. While we wait, it shall not be in vain, because we have entertainment to keep you entertained. And at this point, I will ask Neville to bring forward. Entertainment. Oh, Dennis is here. Dennis, if I knew it was you going to Dennis, I should have known, really. It's either you or Kevin Powell, one of you. So Dennis Rushton, please. And two. I used to see you at another place, you know. That's why I was also thrown out.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to take it way back to my time when I was a young girl. Can you snap your fingers with me? When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me, darling, darling. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. When the sky that we look upon should crumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea. No, I won't wanted to. By the look in your eyes, sweeter than wine, softer than a summer night. Anything I want, I have. Whenever I hold you tight, this magic moment with your lips so close to mine will last forever, yeah. Forever till the end of Cupid. Draw back your bow and let your arrow flow where nobody but me. Cupid, please hear my cry and let your arrow fly for me. Sweeter than wine, softer than a summer night. Anything I want, I have. Whenever I hold you tight, this magic moment with your lips so close to mine will last forever, yeah. Forever to the end of time. Oh, time. Oh, time. Oh, magic moment. Thank you, thank you. Don't worry about a thing, right? Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause I rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds sit by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true, singing, baby, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing now, yeah. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. I wanna wake up with you. I wanna reach out and know that you're there, yeah, yeah. I want you to be the first thing that I see. I wanna wake up with you. I wanna be there right by your side, baby. I wanna feel every beat of your heart, yeah. And throughout the night, I wanna hold you tight. I wanna wake up with you. Remember the songs used to make me rock away. Yeah, we danced all night to the songs they play. We'll and come again, do it just the same. Yeah, remember the songs used to make me rock away. Those were the days when love used to reign. Yeah, we danced all night to the songs they play. We'll and come again, do it just the same. When you have troubles, don't cry. No, no. Just remember, remember what? Yeah, yeah. When you have heartaches, don't cry. No, no. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Thank you very much. So we're going to end with this one. I co-wrote this one, Kevin and I. Carry me aki go all instant market, not talk what he will sell. Carry me aki go all instant market, not talk what he will sell. Oh, Lord, what a night, not a bite, not a Saturday night. Everybody come, everybody come and feel up with them woman no bring. Oh. Lord, what a night, not a bite. Some me plant peas and corn, dog a gully. And if beer till he kill poor Sammy. Sammy dead, Sammy dead, Sammy dead, oh. Sammy dead, Sammy dead, Sammy dead, oh. And no thief, Sammy thief, make they kill him. And no thief, Sammy thief, make they kill him. But a grudgeful, yes, a grudgeful, make them kill him. But a grudgeful, yes, a grudgeful, make them kill him. Ah, who says Sammy dead? Ah, who says Sammy dead? Ah, who says Sammy dead? Him no dead, oh. Ah, who says Sammy dead? I lie them and tell. Ah, who says Sammy dead? Him no dead, oh. From the Rushtards, we would like to apologize because we do understand that all the people in this room are from Upper St. Andrew. And they did not understand a single word that we said. So let me translate in the King's English, if that's all right with you. Samuel planted peas and corn by the wayside. It bore fruit until poor old Samuel met his demise. Samuel died, Samuel died, Samuel died. Oh, Samuel died, Samuel died, Samuel died. Oh, he was not a thief. That is not why they killed him. I think his stocks were doing a little bit too well. You know, every time I tell this story, I get so emotional. But this morning I got an email, and guess what it said? Who said Samuel died? Who said Samuel died? Who said Samuel died? He is alive. Who said Samuel died? That is a lie. Who said Samuel died? Who said Samuel died? Who said Samuel He is alive. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I am Kahara Lisa Rushton, and this handsome man beside me is Dennis Rushton. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much to the Rushtons. Fantastic entertainment, high quality. Another round of applause. I have the privilege of seeing them fairly often perform, and they never disappoint. Okay, I think we're very close to that point now. As I see Neville approaches the bench. Okay, this is not the announcement I was waiting for, but Jacqueline Robinson, you're blocking someone who needs to leave. So, again, I can hasten to go through the agenda very quickly by thanking some of the people who made this all possible. The Stock Exchange marketing team, the entire panel of judges, which Mr. Morrison already highlighted. Certainly want to thank Charlene for the very inspiring prayer. The Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Morrison, for his warm welcome and opening remarks. Denise for standing in for the chair, quite adequately, of course. And certainly to the finalists who really instilled confidence and inspired excellence in the market analysis. And certainly we look forward to it. A round of applause for them again. Dr. Lowe, even in his absence, he's certainly worthy of congratulations for a very good presentation as well. So what remains now is the big announcement. Kim, are you ready with the drum roll? We're not there yet. He found it. As Denise is being consulted once again. Drum roll, please. The winner of the 2024-25 Market Research Competition is Mr. Sean Davidson. Please come forward, sir. Mr. Morris, can I ask you to present? Thank you very much, Mr. Morrison. Thank you. Congratulations again, Sean. Can anyone guess who the runner-up is? Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Runner-up, Jerry Lee Young. I would ask Denise to present, to congratulate. Okay. Okay, this photo op will be completed as soon as we finish writing the check. We'll do that again shortly. Thank you very much, though. Very good job, both of you. All right. I'm going to ask Sean to come and give us your remarks, your experience in this competition. Just tell us what you went through and your own comments on the competition overall. Please welcome him as the 24-25 winner, Mr. Sean Davis.
Good afternoon again, everybody. You know, it's an incredible honor to be here today and to participate in the competition. I mean, you know, so I work full time. I just graduated from the University of the West Indies. So that's also something to celebrate, right? So, I mean, I can tell you it was, you know, a few late nights, you know, staying up and, you know, researching Kingston wharves, ensure that I stay up to date with the news and so on. So, you know, this achievement reflects countless hours of, you know, rigorous analysis, you know, late night financial modeling, and, you know, just a genuine passion for using finance to unlock value in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. You know, I want to especially, you know, big up Barita Investments, you know, a firm that continued to champion young talent and set the standard for excellence in investment banking and investment research across the region. Barita pushes us to think bigger, deliver impact, and always stay hungry for growth. I'm proud to represent a company that believes in developing the next generation of market leaders. To the JC, thank you for giving us this platform to sharpen our skills and contribute to a stronger investment ecosystem. To Jerry Lee, your work has been outstanding and shows how bright the future of Jamaica's finance is. This win is just the beginning. I'm excited to keep creating value, driving opportunities, and advancing the future of our capital markets in my role as an investment banker at Barita. Thank you, and to Barita, we win together, stronger, bolder, smarter.
Thank you very much. Well done indeed. And we're looking forward to the bigger things that you spoke about. Okay, we're now going to ask General Manager, Jamaica Central Securities Depository and JCSD Trustee Services, Andrea Kelly, to present some tokens of our appreciation to our panel and our judges, 4 of whom are here. And I will ask Dr. Hopton Morrison to come forward first. Please give him a little round of applause. Mr. Lloyd Vermont, Senior. Our acting chairperson, Denise Williams. And the baby of the bunch, Alicia Sylvester. It's one of the newest members of the committee. Thank you very much, Ms. Kelly. Mr. Ellis, you ready now? McLean, we didn't forget you. Come forward, please, Rondine. And Denny, stand by to present the big check to Jerry Lee for the photo opportunity. Jerry has a fan base here, so you have to make sure the protocols are right. Yes. Wonderful. Well done, Jerry Lee. Thank you. Okay. All right. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I see Neville keep finding more gifts. Christmas don't come yet, but... Okay, Mr. Morrison will present this one to Sean. Come, Denny's fan club. I mean, Jerry Lee's fan club. Stand by. Okay, Jerry Lee. Okay. Okay, both of the finalists and Denise and our CEO will just have a photo opportunity. What about with the judges, Neville? Okay. Denise, if you can't see, I have your glasses. Judges now, please. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have refreshments outside. Thank you for being here.